You signed up for this, Alexandra. You tuned in to our signal.
Alex!
Oxenfree is a 2016 supernatural mystery adventure game from Night School Studio that dared to be different. It emphasized characters and dialogue over everything else and still managed to have a compelling story that was dark and unpredictable and even at times disturbing. The beautiful art style and story points and the dreaminess of the game's score were always pleasant to look at and to listen to, but yet it was all still surrounded by this lingering feeling of unsettling distress. It also puts you at the center of this oddball group of characters that somehow all found their way here to this island together and had to figure out how to get along just as much as they had to figure out how to survive. This story, however, didn't begin that way. Or did it? Even from the earliest moments of this game, there's an underlying feeling that something isn't quite right on Edwards Island. The island only had one living resident that any of them knew about when they got there, and as Clarissa mentions to Alex when they get to the beach, she's dead now. When you're a teenager looking for a place to party or just get away for the day, a completely abandoned island might sound like the best or absolute worst place to do that. But if you're with the right people, it just might be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Like with characters that we all love in Stand By Me, The Goonies, The Breakfast Club, It, Super 8, The Hangover, you never know when you're about to have an adventure or an experience that you don't always get the chance to have in life, that brings you and all the people that you're with together, whether you want to or not. And no matter what it is that you end up doing together, like fighting against an evil clown who likes to feed on children, or if you're just stuck in detention for a few hours, that's something that can connect you for life. And for Alex, Jonas, Ren, Nona, and Clarissa, this was exactly that. They couldn't have known it when they walked onto the beach together and decided to check out those dark caves, that they were about to unleash a dark spirit that would terrorize their night and also potentially change all of their lives forever. And the caves might be where it started, but it's quickly revealed that what they've unleashed goes far, far beyond that. This mysterious force that was unleashed after Alex used her radio in the caves can talk to them through time, through space, and even through themselves. It's everywhere, and yet it's nowhere. It's a completely unknown entity that is impossible to understand. Alex sees herself in a mirror who appears to be talking to her from another place entirely and gives herself advice on what to do in the future. It's even mentioned in a possible memory that she finds herself reliving that she might have even been here before or was the one that brought herself to this very moment. And then the time loops start to happen, and this starts to confuse everyone, and it brings up more questions of a possible alternate reality. And if that wasn't enough, the characters start to be possessed by this force, and that starts to question everything that's going on to the point that Nona doesn't even know who she can trust and which of her friends are the ones that are really there. But it also makes you question all of this while playing it because you're watching this unfold in real time. It's hard to keep up with all the moving parts going on around them and all around this island, but ultimately there's a constant that you can rely on and the one thing that always keeps this game centered, and that's the characters. The dialogue between everyone keeps the story and characters focused and present. It's a way for both us playing and Alex to know that all of this is actually happening because she's seeing it all unfold before her eyes, and so are we. And she can also talk to everyone about this crazy stuff going on and know that they're all dealing with it too. It's also a way to lighten the load of this huge dilemma on their shoulders. They might not know what's going on or how to stop this or how to get off the island, but they still do have each other, and that's what's most important. But that doesn't stop the journey. They still need to find a way out or they might lose everything. And the big question they might be asking themselves during all of this is, why is this happening to them? You can ask that about so many things, but there's usually never an answer. Maybe it really is as simple as them accidentally tuning into a frequency that messed with the space-time continuum and opened up a strange pathway between realities. Or maybe this was meant to happen. Maybe they were destined to find their way here because they had to. Maybe they really did bring themselves here. Whatever the case may be, they're in this situation now, and you have to keep moving forward to uncover the mystery. As Alex said, it's like getting to live out a mystery novel, and isn't that secretly what we all dream of happening at one time or another? To be a part of something bigger or something weirder than anything we're used to in our day-to-day lives. But that's obviously a much different thing when you're actually face to face with that. It's when those things start to get serious and scary that we start to appreciate the ordinary more than we ever have before. But that doesn't mean that you can't appreciate the extraordinary too. For Alex, this was a chance to see her brother again. No matter the reason for why this was happening, that's something that you can only dream of. And maybe it was just a dream. How can she know for sure? But if it does feel real to her, then what's the difference? This game constantly reminds me of that. There are so many things in life that can make you wonder about what is a coincidence and what is something that might be meant to happen. Why would this weird otherworldly force send Alex back in time to see her brother again? At the same beach, no less. That can't just be a coincidence, can it? I honestly don't know. And I don't think this game is here to give us those kinds of answers. But I also don't think its focus is on asking the questions either. Its focus is always on these characters and the interactions between them on this very weird day in this very weird place. But what's great about this story is not just about how strange it is, but how normal it is even within all that strangeness. These are still teenagers who are very freaked out by these weird demonic possessions going on and all the time loops happening, but they're also very curious on whether their crush likes them just as much as they do. And yeah, that was very weird that Clarissa jumped out of that window and appeared to kill herself, only to find out that her body wasn't there anymore. But also, you know, maybe when this is all over, we can get back to that boat and maybe we can all have a bite of that last pot brownie that Ren has with him. It's one of the best things about being young. The unknown is just an exciting new thing to discover and not something to be afraid of. I mean, it would be really easy to turn around and go back to the familiar faces and places that we're used to. Not everybody is going to be brave enough to confront something like that. And maybe on their own, they wouldn't have been either. But luckily, they're not alone. There might be no other soul on this island besides their own, but they don't need anybody else. Together, anything is possible. And they might not have all been close when they first got to this island, and maybe they still won't be afterward, but at least for this night, they were family. And I don't even necessarily know if any of these characters are people I would get along with in real life, but I still feel like I know them now, and I couldn't imagine a world where I didn't. And I like to think that that's how these characters feel about each other too. If they happen to be asked that very popular question of which 4 people would you want to be stuck with in the event that you got stuck on a haunted, abandoned island with otherworldly forces trying to possess you and kill you, they probably wouldn't have chosen each other. But that's what makes it so great that this happened. The unknown can be a scary thing because it's not familiar and it's not comfortable and it's not what you would choose. But sometimes it's the unknown that can lead you exactly where you need to be. And for these 5 characters, this is where they needed to be, and I'm so glad I got to be there with them. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I tried to do this game justice as much as I could, and I hope I did because it's truly one of my all-time favorites. And if by chance you haven't played it yet, I really hope that you do at some point, even if you know everything that happened now, because it's a truly amazing experience, and it's a game that I'm sure I will continue to think about for a very long time. Thanks again, everyone. I hope to see you in the next video, and until then, take care.